Ashtree does provide, hey? Water, air, sunshine, earth from which our food grows, materials for which we build our homes. Everything we've made comes from the earth. And humans are such innovative creatures. Look at what we've done. The good stuff and the bad stuff. It involved innovation and creation. Matter being manipulated and altered. And I think that's so beautiful. I think humans have so much power and so much potential. I just think that it's time for us to start using that power and that potential in a co-creative manner with the earth for positive. I believe we're so capable of living in accordance to natural cycles and rhythms, as we're meant to. Imagine if we could use all our brain power and all our might and all our tools and our machines and all of the incredible things that we've created as a human race. Imagine if we could use those to help the earth and to help each other. We have more than we could ever need right now, today, this very moment. We have enough food, we have enough material, we have enough power, we have enough machine, we have enough energy, we have enough of everything we could ever need to create an incredible world together. It just takes co-creation, collaboration. And in order for that to happen, we need to put aside our differences. Or not even put them aside, because I believe our differences are what make us so beautiful and so colorful and so incredible. Our diversity can be our greatest strength as a race if we can stop needing everyone and everything to be the way we want it to be or like us. If we could just love ourselves enough to be the way we are and to exist next to people and things and lifestyles and everything and cultures right next to us that differ to us. I think that's the way forward for humanity, is co-creation, collaboration, self-love. Once we love ourselves enough to love other people, then we'll be unstoppable. Yeah. So that song actually was born out of, I was just practicing chord progressions one day, and in this guitar book that I've got, there was the C, A minor, E, G progression, and I was just strumming it. And I was like, hey, that sounds a lot like a song. And so I wrote the first verse that day. I was sitting in my bedroom, and lying on the floor in front of me was my partner's shirt, and it's this t-shirt with this picture of like an ent kind of creature. An ent is a shepherd of the forest. An ent is like a living tree, basically, a tree being. And in this picture, he's packed his bags and he's leaving because all of the trees around him have been cut down. There's no longer a forest. His home is gone. There's nothing for him to care for anymore. And it's quite a sad picture. And it's quite potent because my partner is a carpenter. This deck that we're sitting on was built by his own hands. He's an incredible carpenter and builder. He is, that man of mine. And so he works with wood. So it's often on my mind, the fact that our livelihood is built off the back of deforestation, to be perfectly honest. And we would like in the future to work with more sustainable sources of wood. But as I always say, do the best you can with what you have. Um, but what I'm trying to say is there's a consciousness there. I'm aware that our money comes from wood. So I was just thinking that, pondering that, and we're actually going to be building our own home soon, and it's going to be a timber home, which means it'll be built by more trees. Those trees we're going to fell ourselves locally, which will be awesome. But I've just been thinking a lot lately about that kind of stuff, about sustainability, about where your products come from, about their source and the ethics of that and the carbon footprint of that. So I wrote this song, just the first verse I wrote. We cut down the trees and we build up our houses, but when we take, we also ought to give. Because I have this vision that in the future, for every deck that we build, that Divine Decking builds, I would love for us to plant a couple of trees. Obviously we need space, so we would need in the future to have land enough to do that, or maybe find collaborators who would have space and would like to have trees planted on their properties, to do that. Whenever we build a deck, as many trees as we use, we replant. And that's what I mean when I say when we take, we ought to also give. Because I don't believe that everything's just meant to be left as it is and we must just live like the cave people, without affecting the earth around us. I do believe that as humans we are innovative and creative, and we've been given these minds that are so creative and these hands that are so, bodies that are so capable of creating and reshaping the earth into so many awesome things. But I believe that we ought to do it with consciousness, a sustainability consciousness. So when we take, we also ought to give. So if you cut down trees, try plant some more trees, or try give back to the planet in another way if you don't have that capacity. Like right now, Aiden and I are vegan. We've both been vegan for a long time, before we even met each other. Oh, amazing. A man who was vegan on his own accord. Amazing. We give back to the earth as much as we can. We have our own little veggie garden, and we live very sustainably. We harvest rainwater, we grow our own food, we're vegan, we're very conscious. Obviously we're not perfect, nobody's perfect. I gotta work it again and again till I get it right. But you live and you learn it, right? And all you can do is do the best you can with what you have whilst working towards something better. Yes, sirree. So this song is just, I had a friend, I played it for him, and he called it a sad song. And it quite took me aback, because I hadn't seen the song as sad. And maybe that's just because I've been a very earth-minded individual for a very long time, and I've already processed all of my sadness with regards to unsustainability and deforestation and animal suffering and everything that goes with the very unsustainable reality of human consumerism on the planet at present. I'm a conscientious objector from a lot of that reality, but I'm aware that it exists. But I do all I can to counteract it, and I don't contribute. So I see no reason to be getting myself down about it, And I also know that huge majority percent of people who are consumers are ignorant consumers, and I believe that information and love and just encouragement to become a bit more open-minded and a bit more aware of how your lifestyle affects the planet and animals and environments and stuff. I believe a lot of people would change given the opportunity to become aware and given a pathway to an alternative, because you can't just expect people to drop their lifestyle and not have a functional, grounded, desirable alternative. So I don't judge people for living the way they do, because I used to live that way and I had to find my own way out of that system, and I hope to be a bit of a waymaker, guide, maybe, whatever, I can't find the word, like a field guide for people out of that system into a more sustainable system. And I believe making music like this will maybe kind of bring these conversations to the forefront, hopefully, or closer at least. Spread the message. Yeah, so this song is called Nature Provides, and yeah, that's what it's about. It's about acknowledging nature for all that she gives us, and acknowledging that we need to, it's okay to take, because that's why she provides, so that we can thrive. But when we take, we ought to also give. So in whatever way we can give back to the earth or the people around us, or in whatever ways we can consume consciously and sustainably, if we can reduce excessive, unconscious, unnecessary consumption, that'll go a huge way to helping the planet and nature. Yeah. So that's what this song's about. I don't think it's a sad song. It might be sad if you've never thought about those kinds of things before, and it's kind of like, oh my gosh, waking you up to those kinds of things. But don't be sad. That's not a very productive emotion. Obviously, sadness helps. Sadness is a purge. Sadness is a good feeling to feel and to let out of your system, to release from your system. But if you want to change the world, sadness isn't going to change the world. I've learned that. So when you hear this song, try hear the optimism in it rather than the sadness. We cut down the trees and we build up our houses, but when we take, we ought to also give, because other creatures also need to live. So when you take, please remember to give. Our houses, where are all the birds supposed to live? So when we cut down the trees and we demolish the birds' houses, the least that we could do is plant some seeds. You are at any sea. song inspires you to become a bit more conscious about the way you are in the world. I hope it doesn't make you sad. It's okay if it does make you sad. Sadness is an emotion that I'm very comfortable with and that needs to be accepted. I definitely don't mean to reject sadness. I just didn't perceive this song as being a sad song. But that's just my perspective, and perspective is subjective.